Ken, take us inside the FBI. What are you hearing from your sources? Because in the case that this is a he said, she said, you know, people are immediately jumping to the, well, maybe she's asking for an investigation because she wants to delay things. Maybe she's asking for an investigation so it's not just a he said, she said. Because even Mark, who's in the room?
Mark Judge.
Mark Judge, who's in the room, while he said it didn't happen, he's not willing to testify.
Yeah, Stephanie, my sources are frankly presenting another view than the one you just heard from Bill Gavin, which is that the FBI absolutely could investigate this, not as a criminal matter, but as part of their role background checking federal nominees. But they could only do that if the White House asked them to look into this allegation. And if the White House did ask them to do that, they would be perfectly capable of shedding some light on this. In fact, you know, they have people who do nothing but interview sex crime victims. They have trained interrogators. And as you said, there are witnesses in this case, Mark Judge, and there's another woman who's on Twitter saying she was a classmate of Dr. Ford and that this incident was discussed. Now, I asked The Hill, and they said they don't know whether that's true or not. That's the kind of thing that the FBI could investigate. They could find people who knew these folks, who were classmates. They could try to triangulate, did this party occur? You know, did people talk about this? Even though, it obviously was many, many years ago, but the FBI is fully capable of at least shedding some light on this. The issue is the White House has not asked them to do that, and until that happens, they can't do a thing.
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.